and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, J Pops. And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, J Pops. Guys, today's date is Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. It is a beautiful, beautiful day in the great city of Houston, Texas, people. I'm coming to you live and direct from out of the backyard of my own home. Hashtag Gig 'em Aggies. How are you guys doing out there? I know we are not too far from the spring game, people, so please get ready, get ready, get ready. On today's episode, man, and in this latest edition of the Homemade Podcast of Sports, I will be going over this here topic, and this is a topic that each and every one of us Aggie fans and SEC fans around the entire nation, as well as college football fans, we all need to ask this question here. A lot of these guys, when I say this, it's going to be a lot of you all already giving me an answer of no, they're not. Haven't showed us anything. Is Texas A&M football-wise, per se, is Texas A&M a legitimate threat in the SEC West to Alabama and LSU? I need you guys to immediately go in that comment section and comment either yes or no. I need you guys to say, I'm talking to all the LSU fans. I'm talking to the Alabama fans, period. I'm talking to the SEC fans in general. Is Texas A&M football a legitimate threat to Alabama and LSU? Don't get me wrong. I hate to leave out everybody else in the SEC West, but we're just talking about the top three teams at the moment that have asserted themselves going forward. Okay? So what I want to do is this here. And if you guys want to know what my answer is yes. I honestly believe that. I believe that the Aggies will win the SEC West for the 2021 season. That is my honest opinion. Although it is question marks at quarterback, it's question marks at offensive line, and it's question marks at wide receiver. That's three positions I just named to you guys that all have question marks. So in you guys' mind, I can already hear, well, how can you say that we're a threat? How can you say that Texas A&M is a threat if it's a quarterback at three positions already on one side of the ball? Because defensively, it isn't any question marks so far that we are aware of. Okay? So this is why I believe that Texas A&M is a threat. And I want you guys to hear this. And this is not going to be a long episode at all. But I need you guys to pay attention to this here. Once again, I know a lot of you guys may not like to look at recruiting, but I need a lot of you guys to pay attention to me when I talk about recruiting, okay? If you guys look up on the screen, and if you guys look to the right-hand side, depending on where you're looking at this at. But if you guys look on the right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys look on the right-hand side of that screen right there, I want you guys to look at a certain position. And this certain position is the cornerback position. And this is an actual breakdown of the position itself, and this is an actual example of what I'm going to give you of why A&M should be a legitimate threat to Alabama and LSU going forward. Okay, so first of all, man, you guys have to understand that it all starts with recruiting. It starts with recruiting. I cannot say that enough. All right. You need these young, talented kids to come and play for your program in order to compete. Okay? You need some of the top elite kids. And sometimes you don't need top elites. It's all about how the way you mold these kids going forward. And it's all about how the way you develop these kids going forward. But you do need talent to play with talented teams, okay? So, I'm giving you a breakdown here. And if you look to the right, just like I said, on the top, and this is a breakdown, this is a real good example in my opinion. On the top, you have LSU at the top, you have Texas A&M slightly at the bottom of it. Now, if you can see on that cornerback, you see how it says 7 on roster, 3 committed already? And this is for LSU, and this is for the 2022 class. If you can look, LSU only has 1 player that was a senior, and he's most likely probably gone now. LSU had only 1 player that did not have a star ranking. I can hear a lot of people now, well, stars doesn't matter. Stars does matter, okay? It doesn't matter what star, but stars does matter, people, okay? It does matter. LSU has 2 5-stars on that cornerback roster. One of them, Derek Stingley, I believe he won an award his freshman year. And the next one is Eli Ricks, who's also, I think, got first team or second team, all SEC. But I know he got all freshman team for sure. If you look right there, man, like I say, there's only 1 cornerback on that whole roster that did not have a star anywhere on his name. Everybody else had stars. Although LSU had a bad season last year. I understand that part too. LSU had a bad season, okay? Worst defense ever in LSU history. But all of those guys were talented. They just didn't have the right defense coordinator. We know that. They were all talented. If you go down to Texas A&M, and this is why I'm going to hit you right here, Aggie fans, and I just want you to know that Jimbo Fisher and Mike Elko is working their ass off to get elite talent to play with elite programs. Understand this. If you want to sit at the big boy table, and Clemson can probably, speak otherwise on this, but also with that team that Deshaun Watson was on, that was a very talented team. All those guys were highly ranked, believe it or not. All right, they might not have been highly ranked as Alabama was. I know that for sure. But all of those guys were ranked, okay? So I want you guys to know that Mike Elko and Jimbo Fisher is figuring this thing out, and they're going out and getting elite talent. You guys look down below. Texas A&M. And no, we're not, crapping on our program. I'm just showing you what Jimbo Fisher has did to go, out and do what he does. All right, anyway. Us Aggies, we had 4 players without a star, nowhere on their name. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no clue who these guys even are. You guys out there that's listening, that's Aggie fans, you guys don't have no clue who these guys are. I know that for sure. We don't know who these guys are. Who even knows if they was even out there last year, because I didn't see any one of these guys. I believe they were just right there to fill a depth chart. I don't mean to be mean, but they were right there to fill a depth chart, okay? So this is why we are out recruiting our ass off to get talent to come in here and play for this program. We're asserting ourselves. Are we a threat to Alabama and LSU? Hell yeah, we are now. Can what we did the past 3 years actually say that we're a threat to Alabama? No. I'm going to be honest with you, no, because of how the score looked. So far as talent-wise, though, recruiting, it starts with recruiting. We're starting to be a threat to not only Alabama and LSU, but to the SEC in general. Okay? If we're not the second or third or even the first team in the SEC, so far as recruiting, the last place that we're going to go to is 4th. And if we're in 4th, then we're going to be 3rd in the SEC West. The teams above us is Alabama and LSU. This has been like this for 3 years now. So, yes, we are a legitimate threat. We're starting to be a threat. I just told you, it starts with recruiting. I'm going to say that until you guys tell me to shut up. Okay? I need you guys to understand that. Now let's keep going forward, man. Like I say, we're not going to be long on this at all. I want to break down, once again, look to the right-hand corner. If you can see, these are the Alabama cornerbacks. 6 on the roster, 0 committed at the moment. All of these guys were literally 4 stars. 4-star recruits. Some in the top 100, some in the top 300. But at the end of the day, all of these guys were top 300 and 4-star recruits. One of them was a 5-star, who was Patrick Surtain, who in my mind was a shutdown corner. This is Nick Saban at his finest. I can't say that this is Nick Saban and his defense coordinator. You know? But I can say that this is Nick Saban exactly at his finest. He goes out and he gets the players that he wants. He gets the players to come to his program and they buy in. Whether if it takes them 2 or 3 years to get on the field. By the time they get on the field, you know these guys already because they were highly ranked when Nick Saban recruited. This is what I need you guys to pay attention to. I need you guys to look at that in general. Now you look up in Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher and Mike Elko, they're going out and getting the guys that they want at this specific position, okay? And right now we're in the transition of either getting, well, we already got Bobby Taylor. That's another 4-star, highly rated 4-star. In my mind, we'll get Julian Humphrey. That's another 4-star. Also, to end that off with the cornerback class, I believe that we'll get Denver Harris. That's the 5-star. Jalen Jones is already on the roster. He was a 5-star commit at safety, but he can play both safety and corner. These are the guys that you need in order to compete with among the elites. This is the table. This is the elite table. You want to know why they keep on kicking us out the elite table? It's because they're saying that you guys don't have enough talent to play with us yet. Same thing could have been said for Auburn when Cam Newton had won that magical season. Won a national title, I understand that. You know? But Alabama has won 9 out of 11 recruiting classes at number 1. This 2021 alone was one of the best seasons in 247 sports history, including Rivals and ESPN, but also in Alabama history of their number 1 classes. This is who we have to go up against. We're in the SEC West, people. I tell you this all the time. It starts with recruiting. You have to go out and you have to get these players, man. You cannot sit back and let LSU and Alabama and Georgia totally outdo you in recruiting. I'm not saying do all the wrong things to get these recruits here and pay them and all that nonsense that we always hear about. I'm not saying that. I'm saying go out and get the guys that you want. But make sure those guys are talented and those guys have discipline. I believe that Bobby Taylor is one of our highest cornerback commits of this decade, probably, in which he has the mindset and he has the discipline to get out there on that field day one. I believe if he wins that job and just go to work, man. Just go to work. Literally go to work. Okay, I believe the same thing for Denver Harris. All right. Anywho, let's keep going here. Told you once again, it's not a long episode. Let's keep going here. So we're going to break down the wide receiver position now. So for LSU, I'm only talking about these 2 programs because what did I just tell you? A legitimate threat. LSU got 7 wide receivers on the roster, 3 committed already. If anybody didn't know, LSU is the number 3 in recruiting right now. They have the number 3 class for the 2022 cycle. It's still early, I know that part or whatnot, but they're still number 3 at the end of the day right now. Their senior was Jay Kirkland. But if you guys can look on their right-hand corner again, LSU has all of those guys with star rankings by the names. About 3 of those guys are 3 stars. Most of those guys are 4 stars and like 1 5-star, which was Butte. I believe. But he's going to be a stud. We know this. Those guys have to go up against our cornerback backfield. That's why I just gave you that breakdown. We got to have the corners to cover these guys. If not, you're going to get smoked. You're going to get smoked. Although we're 2-1 against LSU. Shout out to Jimbo Fisher right away. We're 2-1 against them. All right, but you still have to recruit the talent to go up against these talented young wide receivers for these schools. I'm just naming LSU. LSU has some receivers, man, some dynamic wide receivers. All right, so let's keep going here. Now it's on to us. Once again, we're talented as well. Don't take that away from us. We're talented as well. If you look at us, though, once again, back to what Jimbo Fisher is building. Now we're talking about offensively. Jimbo Fisher is building this in the right way. If you guys can remember, I said that we got about 18 wide receivers on this roster already. Some of these guys are leaving. Some of these guys were seniors already. Only one committed. That's Noah Thomas for the 2022 cycle. On that wide receiver chart, if you guys can look up there, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got about 7 wide receivers with no stars under their names. Once again, you don't know who these guys even are. We don't even know these guys. First of all, it's a lot of damn wide receivers to begin with. It's 18 of them. Who are these guys? We don't know. That's what I'm getting at, man. We don't know these wide receivers. The guys that are ranked, though, you know all of these guys. Jalen Preston is one of them. Caleb Chaplin is one of them. Demas is another one. Shadrack Banks is another one. Moose Muhammad, another one. Cameron Buckley, he's coming back. We know about him already. That's what you want. So going forward, it ain't no such thing as nobody's not with a star with their name on it. A star under their names. Okay? Jimbo Fisher is going out and getting these guys. That's why he wants more depth, but he wants more talent as well. Okay? Understand that. Please, people, understand where I'm getting at. We are building in the right direction to be a legitimate threat to LSU in Alabama. Once again. All right? And I'm going to leave that at that, man. There's no reason to go any further, but I just wanted to give you guys a breakdown on what was what, okay? I have to go ahead and get on up out of here. I have to go and do some things, but I need to give you guys that, man. I need to give you guys that. Please, guys, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And once again, it's the Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, Jay Pops. I love all of you guys. #GigaMegs. And thank you guys for tuning in to the #Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter @JPops, on Instagram @JPops, and also on Facebook at #Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. #GigaMegs.